Let's talk about a topic that's near and dear to my heart. Wasteful meetings, unproductive meetings, and having meetings to determine what follow-up meetings need to be had. Okay, listen, I'm going to be quick. I'm going to leave you with 4 tips. You've probably heard them. Maybe I'll give you a different perspective somehow. Because I know the individuals that I work with, it is clear, the expectation is clear, and it's unbelievable the amount of meetings that people are included into that add no value, possess no skill set, and have no takeaways from the meeting that benefit them at all, which by definition is a complete waste of money for your company. Number 1, if you're the organizer of the meeting, figure out who actually needs to be in the meeting. You can do that a couple ways. First and foremost, you need to clarify the intent of the meeting, the subject matter of the meeting. What's the desired outcomes of the meeting? You clarify, then you determine who needs to be there to meet the desired intent. Number 3, always have an agenda attached to the meeting, articulating the topics you're going to discuss, the time slots of those topics, assuming it's a longer duration meeting. So individual stakeholders can join at their discretion based on the sliver of time that they can add value or extract value. And then lastly, hold yourself accountable to deliver actions coming out of the meeting. I mean, what is a meeting for if you don't leave with takeaways or deliverables? Too often we show up to a meeting, we have a few conversations, conversate about a few topics quickly. There's no recap, there's no action items, which ultimately just leads to us having a follow-up meeting to try to determine what's next, who's involved, who's responsible, what's the intent, what's the desired outcome, how are we going to measure success, all of the things that we should have designed action cycles for coming out of the previous meeting. So again, let's recap. Clarify the intent of the meeting. Understand what the desired outcome is. What's the subject matter you're discussing? Once you know that and feel great about that, then figure out who needs to be there to fulfill that intent. Then create an agenda for your meeting so the key stakeholders and individuals that you do decide to add on to that invite, they can use their discretion to determine if it's a great use of their time to attend your meeting, and they will largely determine that by your agenda and the topics you've outlined in the agenda. And if it's a longer duration meeting, add the time slots that you'll be discussing each topic so folks can join based on the time slot they can add or extract value. And then lastly, hold yourself and the people accountable in the room to create action cycles based on the topic. Who's doing what? When is it due? What decisions do we need coming out of this meeting? What actions need to take place? That's how you have a productive meeting. Hold yourself accountable. Set the expectation with you and your teams. I'm not attending a meeting unless an agenda is in the invite. And if you're inviting me to a meeting, don't be mad at me if I email you and ask you, what do you expect of me in the meeting? And if you as the organizer cannot tell me what value you believe I'll bring to this meeting, I'm absolutely not attending. Sorry, nobody cares about your time more than you should. You should care about your time so much so that you should push back on people that are trying to get you to join meetings without the clear intent and agenda. And don't be surprised if people push back and ask follow-up questions if you aren't fulfilling at least these 4 things that we talked about today. Until next time, cheers.